Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. You know, if I had to sit there and label this video or label the title of this review, I would sit there and say questionable, right? Questionable. And we'll start off with Chanel and EJ. EJ's sitting there reading the bad press that Paulina's getting, and Chanel comes in. Chanel's like, really? Like she's like, really? That's how you feel about the situation? And they're talking about how Paulina was being reckless when she went to go save Chanel from the snowstorm. And that's one of the things he was saying, like she was reckless and she endangered your life and endangered my grandchild's life and everything like that. And now Chanel is sitting there sticking up for Paulina Smith is saying that she never had any intentions of any harm or anything like that. She was just Smith trying to protect me. This wasn't, you're trying to paint her like she's somebody that she's not. And I get that. But I'm also just like, where is this level of defense coming in from? You haven't talked to your mom in days because you felt like she risked your life and your unborn child's life by being reckless, and now you're sitting there defending her. Like, what is it? You're upset with her. You haven't talked to her in days, and now you're defending her. Like make this make sense to me. And on some level, I guess I kind of get it because it's one of those things where it's like it's one thing when you come after your loved one, it's another when somebody else comes after your loved one in a sense. But at the same time, it's like, come on, at least be consistent about it. So they talk about that. They talk about they talk about Jude for a little bit, and as far as him maybe changing the name. Then EJ gets a little out of pocket, and he talks about, oh well, just to let you know, y'all still have options. I'm like, EJ, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing at this point? This is something that her and your son should be sitting there talking about. The fact that you keep putting in your 2 cents where it doesn't belong is absolutely insane and just so out of pocket, right? That's one of the things that she did bring up when she was with Johnny during the appointment. So Johnny goes to Marlena for some advice, and the advice that he goes for is something that he had answers all along to, right? He tells her about the job opportunity, but that is in LA, and that he doesn't know what he should be doing. Should he turn it down? Should he, like he doesn't know which way to go about it. But he seems like, actually, to tell you the truth, it seems like he wants to already turn it down without even sitting there talking to her about it. And Marlena's like, do you think that's the best course of action? You don't think that she's going to be upset if that you turned down the opportunity before you even actually had the chance to talk to her? And he's all like, oh, well, she has a lot of stuff that's going on. I don't want to add to it. I'm like, this is the reason why when I look at these two characters, I'm always just wondering, like, this is the problem with Johnny. Johnny didn't really sit there and have much to say. And I get he wants to be supportive as far as, whatever she wants to do, I'm going to sit there and follow her lead. But you can have your own opinion. You can have your own thoughts about the situation. You can be like, okay, maybe I don't know if this is the best idea for this pregnancy, or I do think this is a good idea for this pregnancy because of X, Y, Z. The only thing he's doing is, well, do you think it's okay? Okay, well, if you think it's okay, then I'm going to sit there and just support you. You can do both. It's not a hard thing to do. So the fact that he's like, I don't know if I should take this opportunity or not is like, you can talk to her about it, have her weigh in, and then go from there. Like in a lot of ways, this conversation almost seemed kind of pointless because it's like, bro, you're a grown ass man. Like, what are you doing? I feel like going to Marlena should have been a much bigger thing than this, when he already is answering his own questions. They talk about Jude for a little bit. And he feels all kind of guilty because it's like, listen, I feel bad for Eric, but I feel happy for my dad. Um, so that happens, right? Now, I didn't know his character's name at the time, but his name was Green, Mark Green. Apparently, it was a guy on ER, which is really wild because I used to love that show, and I don't remember that character at all. Anyway, he's jogging, and Leo sees him, and it's this really awkward scene, right? Like he looks at him like he's ready to just plow him right then and there, right? So he gives him his glass of water, and then he just straight asks him out, like just like that. Just, would you like to go out? And he's like, yeah, I'm straight. It should have ended right there, right? The fact that you asked him, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Was that supposed to be funny or something? Because I didn't get the joke. I really didn't. I always sat there and was like, why are we doing this for him? Why are we doing this for him? She was like, no, it's cool, I'm flat or whatever. And, he just goes on about his way. Apparently, he is the brother of Felicity. And so while they're at their appointment, and Johnny gets there, he's about to sit there and bring up the job opportunity. He does hear about EJ and questioning her about, well, you still have options or whatever. So he was like, listen, I'll talk to her. I'll talk to him later on. Chanel's all like, oh, you don't think I can take care of myself? It's not about that. If the roles were reversed, she would have sat there and had a talk with her mother if Paulina came at Johnny a certain way. It's not about you being able to handle yourself. It's about you not respecting my boundaries of what I just said. Um, Leo does go to Marlena and he's like, I got a problem. And he's a little kind of insecure about it at first. He tries to cover up. At one point, he's very insecure. Um, and long story short, the part of the problem, well, what arose this problem was to break up with Dimitri. But what it really stems from is his upbringing with his mother that made him feel very small and insecure. So it's like he does these things. And he said this before. He jokes about certain things. It's kind of inappropriate. He tries to, he throws out a lot of humor to mask his insecurities. And I'm surprised that Marlena took him on as a patient, not just because of the whole thing with Will. That probably would have been enough from what I understand. But more about with Eric, and him blackmailing Sloan and not telling Eric this, that, and the third. Like, I thought that would have been enough to be like, nah, I'm good. You got to sit there and find somebody else. But she does sit there and take him on as a client. Now, Eric is, he's bummed out or whatever about Jude. And, you know, Rome is like, maybe you should sit there and live here. He's like, I don't know. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? You can't afford that place. Like, and I'm being dead serious. You cannot afford that place. The fact that you didn't sit there and jump on that sooner is saying something. But for some odd reason, he decides to go to EJ to ask him to be his lawyer, and even EJ's like, really? You don't have a sister that's a lawyer, or Google, or anyone else? And Eric is like, listen, I want to sit there and hire you because you hate Sloan as much as I do, so you'd be more motivated to sit there and help me divorce her. So EJ's like, all right, fine, I'll do it. And he comes up with this way where it's like, even though she's out of town, he can still sit there and file for a divorce. It'll take a couple of weeks or whatever. He has to so-called do his due diligence as far as trying to find her, but um, he'll help out with the, with the divorce. I'm still just like, out of all, see, like this literally does not make any sense. You're only asking him to do it because he hates Sloan as much as you do. Dude, you could have sat there and got any lawyer by Googling them, and they would have been just as motivated to sit there and help you divorce this chick, if nothing else, but for the money. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense. This is just something that they just said, screw it, we're just gonna label the song there and call it a wrap. Okay, sure, whatever. And that's pretty much what they wound up doing. Um, yeah, yeah, that's pretty much what we wound up doing. This is exactly what I'm saying. Like, you see how stuff is just kind of out of pocket and things are just not really adding up and making a lot of sense. Um, then he came back to Rome, and he didn't sit there and tell him that he's using EJ for a lawyer because he know damn well Rome would be like, "Are you serious?" But he is happy that he's moving back in. I'm like, I don't understand what you're so happy for. You act like there was a choice in the matter. Like, he can't afford. Again, he can't afford that place. So like, I don't get it. Anyway, I feel like that's pretty much about it. There might have been like one or two things I could have left out, but I think that's the gist of the episode. If you missed anything, you know what to do. Come to a live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll talk about all the shows, General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Bold and the Beautiful, Young and the Restless, and I will see you in the next video.